Welcome back. You're now watching the political segment on The Weekend Show. As we all know, the federal government of Nigeria isn't entirely on its own to make decisions without considering what other areas or arms of government have to do. The legislative arm plays a major role as most of the laws which we have and everything governing Nigeria has to start from the legislative arms. What are the quality of people we have in the National Assembly? For years, we've had people say the National Assembly is a stepping stone or a sleeping dog or rubber stamp. However, we have seen the growth of the Nigerian National Assembly. We recently watched the ministerial screenings of the list of ministers submitted by the President to the National Assembly. While some were extremely impressive in the questioning, we also still saw some people take a bow and go. But what's the role of the National Assembly? What are the roles and the intentions of the people who we have serving us in these hallowed chambers? We will be having a one-on-one exclusive with Senator Garba Musa Maidoki, a senator in the 10th National Assembly, on his role in the National Assembly and his plans for the people. It's a pleasure having you, Senator, and welcome to the Weekend Show.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
I must start by congratulating you on your victory in the poll, because while it may look like just another victory, the person who you unseated was a principal officer in the National Assembly for the longest time. And so it shows that your constituents are ready for a change. How was your journey getting into the Senate this time?
Thank you very much. As I always say, I'm just in politics by accident. The person you are mentioning is actually my childhood friend. We grew up together right from secondary school. We were in Lagos together. We visit each other's house. In fact, some of his children grew in my own house, so we are quite close. We have some disagreement on the role of senator vis-a-vis his constituency. From outside, you have an idealistic understanding what the public officers should do. When you enter politics, you have a different understanding. So, given the benefits of hindsight, when we started, our role from outside is to guide our public officers or our representatives that this is what we expect of you. And when that thing didn't go as we thought, then we think either the person has derailed from the major objective of our area, and we had to come to conclusion. I will be the last person that would have contested against the person you are speaking about. But it's not about me, it's about our people. We had several discussions on this issue, and we had our ideas of how this issue should go, and we had our disagreement. Principally, from anywhere you look from at our senatorial district, I know a senator is not an executive. He cannot execute a project, but he can propose. From anywhere you are going to Kebbi South, there is the roads that were existing pre-1960 have completely disappeared. A 100-kilometer journey from Kwantagora to Zuru will take you 5 hours. And then, if you come back with your car, only God knows the bill that you are going to pay for maintenance. The Zamfara state government had made tremendous progress to make roads right from Zamfara up to the boundary between Zamfara and Kebbi State. And he stopped at Kebbi State. A 50-kilometer journey that is now covering the inside Kebbi State that we had hoped either our governor or the federal government will complete so that we can be accessible. That 50 stretch take 3 hours, 50 kilometers. The other alternative road is from Koko to Zuru. That road is 82 kilometers. That road during the rainy season now takes 7 hours. And we thought our representative should bring this to the fore. We know he cannot construct road, but we want to hear him speak about these roads. Then suddenly, because we had boundary with Niger and Zamfara, banditry came into play. If I tell you the number of people that were killed in the Kebbi South Senatorial District is unimaginable. Ransom, we've been paying ransom, we've lost count. As at last year, we know we paid over 2 billion. We have names of people who have paid. They are existing. We had over 500 deaths killed by bandits. And we came to our friends and say, we know you cannot stop it, but let the world know. Let the world know what we are going through. That's why so many people were afraid when I said this is the situation, because the whole area was blanked off. The government doesn't want anybody to know that there was problem or there is problem in Zulu. And people were just being killed and raped. More than 100 villages were displaced completely and were occupied by bandits. And yet, the previous government of Kebbi State never told the world that this is what we are going through. Then we had to make a decision. It's not personal, it's about our people. And then they came. I was the last person I was expecting they would call to come and contest, because I had no interest. I've served Nigeria for 35 years in oil and gas, and I am eternally proud of my achievement. When the government gave us a target, we were producing 2 million barrels of crude. Government gave us a target of 2.5 million barrels of crude, and we achieved that. Every major project in Nigeria that was designed to increase production from 1 million barrels to 2.5 million barrels, I was among the project team, and we had delivered. So I thought I have paid my dues. I just want to go to the farm and take my rest. But when the call came so much I can't resist, I had to. And today here we are. Nobody gave us a chance, but I had no doubt in my mind, right from day one, that we were going to win. And the interesting thing, people who are responsible for conducting election, and we must talk about this,
Yes.
came to us because they know the pathetic situation of our people. So they want to work with us. And we told them point clear, what we are asking from you, please, is to be neutral. We don't want one vote illegal. Please, if you can do that for us, you have done everything for Nigeria. We don't want to rig one vote with your help, but we implore you to help us that no one single vote is also rigged against us. Because we were all novice. The governor was from the military, he just left. I left from public service, and we never realized that was not the political language. And that was our undoing, because we didn't give them room to do business as usual. So in that case, they went to those who are doing business as usual. But despite that, against all odds, we won.
It's extremely important that we speak about the realities, like the institutions who are meant to conduct transparent elections, playing a role in jeopardizing the trust which we have built over the last 20 years in these processes. It's rather unfortunate, which is why we have a lot of distrust in the nation today, just after the 2023 elections. But even getting into the Senate, we saw the leadership of Senate elections, and you were one of the vocal people when it came to the selection of the leadership of the current Senate right now. What are your thoughts about how they came into power?
Well, first of all, thank you. Let me talk about the Empire INEC. I know our political journey is still at infancy. We have made some gains in certain places, and we have retracted back in certain other places. We were so sure from what the INEC chairman was saying that this election was going to be as transparent as possible. And I might not know what is at the background, but we were sure technology was going to be of the essence, and technology will help us to deliver quality election. INEC headquarters here is one thing. INEC staff at local government are different things. There is serious disconnect. They do not have control over those who conduct election. Most of them, they are ad hoc staff, and they are local staff. I'm not sure they are singing the same tunes. I have said this without fear of any contradiction, that the local government INEC staff are for sale. If you have money, you can win election. With their except where people stand up and say you cannot do it. We have security people that have compromised in election cases. Actually, an incident happened. People stole ballot boxes in our strongest areas, and they took it to the residence of a traditional ruler. And we traced those boxes and those people up to the residence of that traditional ruler. We took that thing to the police. We have it on video. The police never put it in the record of the station diary. We wrote a petition to the police commissioner that a lawyer took these boxes and the people that stole them to your DPO, and it is not in the diary. Up to now, they have never responded to us. That is on the security side of the issue. On the INEC, I think a lot needs to be done so that they can have control over those who, because whatever policy you do here in Abuja, if they don't translate to the polling booth, I think they are just mere hypotheses. And this is their disconnect. They have no connection from Abuja headquarters here to the polling booth where it matters most.
You know, it's interesting that you say that, because I remember the country director of Action Aid Nigeria on this show. She said the same thing, that even if Professor Yakubu Mahmood has the best intention, even if all his directors and commissioners at the federal level have the right intention, by the time you leave that office and you go to the states and you go to the local government, the staff will still do what they want. So how do we fix that issue?
Well, to tell you if I have the answer, probably I can't say I have that answer. It's a work in progress. It's all depend on all of us, because Nigeria has been seriously monetized. Conscience in every ramification, from the top to the bottom, is lacking. Take a small laborer to your farm, he wants to steal, he wants to do what is called business. Go to your boss from the highest level, they are taking Nigerians for a ride.
Unfortunately, and which comes back to what I was saying, even for the elections within the National Assembly, for the Senate President and the likes, we read in the papers that people were being bribed with thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars. We had senators from the same party and members of House of Reps complaining that they wanted a level playing field to be able to run for principal offices. But at the end of the day, it seems like a list was just put out. And I know you were quite vocal about the emergence and or the selection process as it then was. So even within the National Assembly, where the laws are meant to be made to hold INEC accountable and responsible, we still have your own processes within the Senate not being the most transparent.
Yeah. Thank you very much. You know, I'm still new. I'm still studying the system. But I tell you, there are a lot of gaps. The party, what APC did, I don't want to comment. It's their party. They can do what they want. But we, as senators that were supposed to vote for Senate leadership, most of us have not exhibited quality of statesmanship. I grew up all my life in Niger Delta. I have a lot of respect. I have a lot of friends. I have met so many people in Niger Delta. When I started work, nobody in this country was making $50,000 in oil and gas. By the time I left, they were doing hundreds of millions of dollars in contract, to the glory of God. The first local content that came to this country it was the construction of a rig for ELF. We brought it to Wari. An artisan was taking 10 times my salary, which is good. So, when the election issue came, we thought we came here for a national service. And we made our point clear, particularly some of us that are new. Some of those who came to solicit for votes. Being a new person, I told them I've made my decision, and I didn't hide it. I have nothing against you, but I have made my decision. I'm going to vote for Mr. X. And they asked me, is there anything I can do? I say, no, there is nothing you can do. I wish you well. It's a contest. In Islam, leadership is given by God. I have my own intention, but it's eventually God that crowns whoever wins. But I want you to know, I don't hate you, but I'm not voting for you. I told him clearly. But if you win, that is the choice of God. We are going to collaborate to make sure Nigeria works, because I'm particular about Nigeria working. And to the glory of God, we went to the National Assembly. We voted the way we did. After I voted my own vote, just to tell people how transparent and sincere I raised my vote to the National Senate that I have voted for Abdul Aziz Yari. I wasn't afraid of anybody. It was my conscience. And I displayed my conscience. Abdul Aziz didn't win. We went and congratulated the person who won. You are the choice of God. But let me tell you, we will not allow you to fail. If it means fighting in the Senate, we are going to fight in the Senate, because I cannot afford to betray Nigerians. If I look at my children, I feel like crying, because we have no country to live for them. We are just messing with their future. If you have power, winner takes all. And that is sad. That is most unfortunate. We come to the selections of the minister. As far as I'm concerned, my thought is, forget about how the president came in, or the court cases that are going in. But the president is there and he must work. And if Nigeria should be delivered, we should help him to deliver. So, if president brings so many people who, in his own opinion, they are the best this country I have my own opinion. I don't want the president to complain to Nigerians that the National Assembly did not give him the tools he needed to perform. And because of that, certain people that we should have disqualified, we allowed this so that we can hold the president accountable to Nigeria. The president, we have given you whatever you ask of the national, of the commission, of the ministers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You have no excuse to fail Nigerians, and we will hold you responsible and accountable. We know those people that have question mark, and I want to believe you know them too. And we want you to put an eye on them because we will not close our eyes.
Senator Maidoki, but I find that to be a bit problematic in the sense that while you're being honest, there's a lot of leeway which we are giving Mr. President. The same thing was given to President Muhammadu Buhari, where he had a cabinet of ministers where for over 4 years there was no reshuffle, nothing changed. We had ministers, for instance, education, which you have children and you say you look at it and you are sad. We had the Minister of Education who was out of the country for at least half the time when he was the minister. After a re-election, he was still the Minister of Education, so speaking specifically. We had ministers in ministries like health, where the Minister of State and the Minister of the senior minister were not communicating. Now we've now brought a lot of people, especially former governors, and a lot of it seems like compensation for party loyalty. Some of them were in their states, they've left their states in their situation. Some have EFCC cases and probes which they are fighting against. And we sit down and say, let's give him a chance so he doesn't complain. But what happens to the millions of Nigeria? Every day, and you know this, Senator, I'm not even a senator, but every day at least 6 people ask me for money, beg me for money for something to eat. For you, you have a whole constituency where they depend on you. Isn't it unfair to the masses to be still given chances for the president to take a stand at this point, considering what we're saying? As of today, where we speak, the naira to the dollar is approaching 1,000 naira,
Yeah.
which affects every single thing from food to transportation.
Very sad. Very sad. The country is going through a lot. But what our elders told us, that what the elders see sitting, if a child climb a tree, he will not see it. This democracy is improved by practice, just like a legal profession. You do a law, except it is tested in the court, you don't know how its own magnitude. So, I had a first-hand feel of this situation for the first time. And all I can say is, how do we improve this situation?